Hello everyone! Oh my gosh, I have a new baby to show you. This is my beautiful Lyon and Healy Prelude harp. It has little claw feet. It's so sweet. It's so sweet. Gold crown here. It's just lovely, and I love the detail on it. I bought this used from the Virginia Harp Center in New Jersey a couple weeks ago. And it was so fun to make an appointment and just go there and be surrounded with beautiful harps. And I had wanted something that had a little bit more range, because some of the music video ideas that I have for the future, I'd like to kind of explore that darker, richer range. And at this one, it just has an incredible sound. So in this video, I'm going to play you a little bit of it. I'm going to compare it to my little Lewis Creek Nightingale harp that I have over here and answer some questions. It's a little out of tune. It's hard to keep this in tune actually because they put new strings on it. It's got a lovely lower voice. It's still ringing. I don't know if you remember when I got this little harp. I think it was, let's see if I can remember. I think it was in early 2020, like just as the pandemic had started, this majestically and magically arrived. I had ordered it maybe 9 months earlier, and it just arrived just in time for the pandemic to start. So I had a blissful time learning the harp, just having the universe teach me how to, play the harp and learn about music in a completely different way. So that's basically what I have been doing. I recently had some lessons with the lovely Anne Crosby Gaudet, or Anne Crosby Gaudet. I should know how to pronounce her name, but I need to ask her. She's fabulous, and I also, at the Virginia Harp Center, connected with a teacher there, Therese Hurley. And I'm so excited to actually know a classically trained harpist. We both went to Temple University for her doctorate and my master's. We weren't there at the same time, but I've really wanted to connect with a harpist so that I can play viola and harp music. And also, it's fun to know a musician that's local that's a harpist, so I'm going to take lessons with her, but I'll still take lessons with her online. Online is just so convenient, and that way I don't have to lug all this around, and I can still keep doing all the 5,000 things that I do every day, it seems like. So anyway, these are some questions from my dear friend and student, Renee. She says, I'm so excited that you have a new harp, and it's fun to hear about your musical journey. So she says, are you able to transport the new harp in your car, or does it need to be delivered? So fortunately, it did fit in the car. It just, it probably would have fit in the back of my Mazda. I have a hatchback. We took my husband's car. It did fit in the back of the car. We did have to just put the seats down, and it fit. It came with a little dust cover, which is very elegant, très élégant, and or maybe it's très élégante. I don't know. Learning French. So anyway, you have to be very careful with it. It's very, very heavy. It's so hard to move this around. So I would not want to be having to move it around constantly, that's for sure. It doesn't have pedals. It's just kind of got these little levers here. And I think it's the biggest size harp that you can get before you have to have pedals. I'm not sure how that works, but it is a really large instrument. I bought it used. It was played by a really sweet girl in high school in her youth orchestra, and she just went up in her technique so rapidly that she went up to a pedal harp. So this one was lovingly played by a magical musician before me, and I just feel really blessed to have it. We're getting along, and I tried to match it today, wearing brown, and this is kind of brown. So she says, have you ever used the harp to accompany your violin or viola students at a recital or in person or in a group class or something? And I haven't accompanied my students because I don't have yet the proper technique. I can like tinker around with the harp, but performing is completely different. I don't have any fingerings memorized. I just am kind of doing what I want to do in the moment, which doesn't lead to a great performance, and it doesn't allow me to be, flexible enough to be sensitive to one of my students playing and try to follow them. So I'm not at that point yet. But now that I know Therese from the Virginia Harp Center, I thought maybe I can finagle her to come out and play on a recital at some point with us. I have yet to ask her about that, but but anyway, I would love to be able to accompany my students. I would so love to be able to accompany my students. So that's why I have 2 harp teachers now, but it really boils down to, do I have time to practice? So my harp lessons are definitely the time that I get to practice. If nothing else, I can have some harp time in my lesson. And hopefully I can get a couple more days in the week to get some actual practice in myself. But if nothing else, I have my harp lesson to show up for. So anyway, are you actively taking lessons on the harp, or have you before? Yep, so I answered that. And do you play any other instruments? So besides the violin, the viola, and tinkering around with the harp, I can play the piano, but to the same level, I think, as the harp. In music school, you study piano, you take a piano class. So I have like basic knowledge of the piano, but it's not something that I practice. I can sit down and kind of play things by ear and whatnot, but I wouldn't say that I'm a pianist by any means. That would be another amazing skill to have. I really wish that I was a better pianist. So if you're in music school and you're wanting to be a music teacher, take your piano class seriously, because otherwise you're going to have to hire a pianist to accompany your students in the recitals that you put on in the future. So it's nice to have that skill. So yeah, so that's her questions. Let me move this out of the way, and I'm going to play you a little bit of this sweet little nightingale harp. So this is my Lewis Creek Nightingale harp. It has these beautiful gold levers on it, which are, I don't know, I think there's all different kinds of levers that you can get on a harp. I just think these are so pretty. They're so, so pretty, the gold or brass levers. So let's hear the voice of this one. It has a really beautiful voice, but it doesn't like project very loud. So I remember A couple Christmases ago, I went downstairs to play for my apartment's little party that they were having for the holidays, and there was 50 people in the wandering around with their wine and their little hors d'oeuvres and whatnot, and I wanted to play some Christmas carols. And the voice of the harp, it just really was lost in the room. And fortunately, everybody started to sing along with me. That was so sweet. And I was trying to figure out, like I said, performing on the harp, not quite there yet. But, if you're just in a small space, it has the perfect sound. So anyway, I feel so blessed to have both these instruments. The harp has taught me about music in a way that the violin and viola just haven't been able to. I feel so magical when I play the harp, even if I don't know what I'm doing. I just feel like it's such a beautiful thing, and it has such a beautiful voice that it's so special to just pluck one note on the harp, and it's I feel grateful. I just feel so grateful to play the harp, or to try to play the harp. You can't just have one. If you're thinking about getting a harp, I would suggest that you get one from a store that actually looks over it. When I was first looking for harps, I was kind of looking at Facebook and looking at Craigslist and things like that. But I didn't know anything about harps, so I didn't know anything about strings or the health of the instrument. Sometimes the sound box is something, this right here, it can kind of warp a little bit. I just would have had, and the levers, I would have had no idea what to check. So I think you're fine getting a used harp, but you can get a used harp from a harp store, and they've had a chance to look it over. So I would see if there's something in your area, call and make an appointment, and try out some harps. They're just so cool. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. My evil plan is to convert all of you to the viola and to the harp. So anyway, we'll see what happens.